Hey, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to do a little bit of work on this CBF400 Super Sport. We're going to see if we can change out the switchgear. Stay tuned. So this Honda Super Sport, it's a CBF400 Four, belongs to a friend of mine. And you may recall this one from an earlier video where we got a bunch of his bikes running because he's liquidating his bike collection. In the process of starting this bike up, one of the things that we noticed was that the headlight wasn't working. And the bike started up, bike ran great, no headlight. And we did a little bit of investigation while I was there, and there was power to the fuses, and we did a bit more checking a few things, and what I ended up determining was that it was this switchgear. And this switchgear has, for the starter button, when you push the starter in, it also, aside from cranking the engine over and engaging the starter, it cuts the headlight. And it also turns out through a little bit of online investigation that it's a fairly common problem with these switch gears that over time there's part of the plastic assembly in here, I guess, that carries the brass connectors. It'll disintegrate and you'll either lose the starter buttons, the starter switch, or you'll lose the headlight permanently. And so that's what the problem is. Indeed, when it got here, this is back at my shop now, we're in the lower garage, but when it got here, the headlight worked, but the starter didn't work anymore. And then I put a bit of contact cleaner in there, I took it apart, and then let's see, the headlight's working now. And then it actually does crank over now. But I did take this apart initially to take a look, and you can see the plastic is all cracked and whatnot in there, so there's a replacement switch gear has arrived for it. He ordered one. So what I'm going to try to do with this today, and it's not as simple as you would think to change this off, unfortunately. So I don't know yet how much slack I can generate using these in order to get the throttle cables off. By looking at it, yeah, I'm not convinced there's a whole lot of slack to be had there. So it might involve me removing the fuel tank to get the throttle cables off the carbs. That way I can get the throttle tube off. When you unscrew this, it also is not as simple as just taking this off and disconnecting a connector underneath the tank somewhere. Unfortunately, Honda, on this design, all the cabling for this switch runs through the handlebars, and then it comes out down here, if you can see that down there. So this, all the wiring comes out down here, and probably what I will end up doing is attaching a string of some sort, or a dental floss or something down here that will get pulled up to hopefully make the fishing of the new wiring back down through here a little bit easier in that process. So okay, so basically I just pulled this rubber retainer off the top of here, so now it's kind of sitting underneath, allows the tank to lift up. I have removed the fuel line off the pack valve. It's turned off, of course. So now I'm just going to lift off the fuel tank. We'll get that out of the way. All right, fuel tank's off. I'm going to leave this upstairs out of the way so it doesn't get damaged at all. The only thing I am going to try to do, there's a very, very slight dimple in this tank, and I told my buddy I would try my PDR kit on it. It's almost impossible to see, but when the light catches it, you can see there or not. So I'll see if I can pop that back out. So now we've got both the throttle cables disconnected there. This one I just took the entire cable out of the holder and removed it from the mechanism here. That one. This one provided enough slack, so at the end I was able to just pop that right out. So now we can move up to the switch gear and the grip and start to remove that. Alright, let's see if I can get the throttle cables out of here. Take the front one first. I'll get the rear one out. Front one here, which I guess is the pull cable, seems to be threaded right into that switch gear, so that's just a bit of a pain in the backside, but. All right, so I got about 6 millimeters of thread out of the bottom of that switch gear for that particular throttle cable. So just, I don't know, just a point of reference to be able to screw it back in properly when I yeah, about six or seven turns. Throttle tube comes right off. Down here on the side of the bike, trace this wire here, and this is the one that I believe it has all the same colored wires. I traced it, and this is the replacement switch gear. So I'm just going to see if I can see how easy it's going to be or not to just kind of loosen this wire and start to feed it back up through and figure out if I have to take these off. Yeah, there was no way that that cable was going to be moving through those handlebars, so I'm going to have to take the bars off to be able to fiddle that through somehow. I've taken the mirrors off because I don't want those getting damaged. All right, so I've disconnected all of these wires from down in there. The easy part is they all connect to wires that are the same color banding on them. So basically it comes across the top of the backbone of the frame, comes back underneath here, and then feeds up on the front of the triple clamp beside the gauge cluster here and out. And then I'm hoping now that if I have a little bit of room from the handlebars being disconnected, I can weasel this thing out of there. So take these bars down. That should give me enough. So I'm basically pulling on the one end of the wire where the switch gear is, and I'm pushing on this end. Before I completely lose the wiring inside the handlebar, once I get down to the free ends here, I'm going to tape those up somehow, probably with some masking tape, and attach a piece of string or dental floss or something. That should make it simpler. So I'm going to stop there and attach something to that, because there is no way that that's going to get threaded back through those handlebars if I don't put a fishing line basically through there somehow. And then I think the other thing that would be wise to do is going to be to lubricate the outer sheathing of the new one so that it slides through there much easier. So I'm going to go find some string and tape. So I've got some string. I'm going to use, well, I'm just going to use the entire length of string that I have. You can't have it too long. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to tape it probably a good, what is that, 4 inches, 5 inches, something like that. I want it long. I want as much string on here as is reasonable. I might even maybe try to feed a bit more of this cable back through here, because the more string you have taped on, the less likely I am to have the string pull off or pull out in some way, shape, or form. Like if you just tape it kind of up at the end here, like up here somehow, then you don't have much grip on the wiring. But if you start taping it way down here where it's sheathed, then it's much less likely by the time you tape the whole thing up. Like I'm just basically gonna just wrap tape all the way down here, all the way to the very, very end, and then I'll kind of finish it up down here so that it slides through as easy as possible. All right, so there's my taped up string thing. So I'm hoping now, just move it back a little bit here so I can get some room to work. But yeah, my hope now is I can actually feed this thing through here. I should probably just give it a tug. Make sure that string's not going to pull out. We're good, I think. I actually don't have to worry, I guess, about the string not staying on when I'm pulling it out. It's more around when I'm fishing it back down that I got to worry about that part. So here we go. Back here so you can see what's going on. So now you can see the string here coming out of the handlebar. And there's my old switch gear. So basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this string from that switch gear, and I'm going to attach it to the new one. All right, so now I have my new wiring with the new switch gear. See the new one there? I just left it in the bag just so it stays somewhat protected while I do this. So it's attached to my string. So I think what I'm going to use to lubricate this is some dielectric grease. I've got some in a spray that should do the trick. So this is the stuff I'm going to spray on here. It's just a dielectric grease in a spray bomb. So I'm going to spray that on and then start feeding it through. All right, let's get this feed thing going on here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to try to push this as much as possible. The less I have to pull, the better. I just don't want to risk that string getting pulled off. I'm trying to use the string as more of a guide than a... So already I can see the end of the wire already, so that's good. There we go. Perfect. That's what we need. Right on. So before I go any further, I'm going to clean off that cable and then disconnect the tape and the string, and then we'll get it fed back through into the proper place and get the wires hooked up. All right, so I've got all the wires all hooked up in here to the correct places, and the wiring two wiring harnesses that kind of go into here, kind of back through the appropriate loops here, the wire holders. So that's good. And then I'm just going to make sure that those are tucked in nice and tight against the frame here, and then we will be good to go. I think what I'm going to do though is just before I get too far ahead, I'm going to just test that the switch gear is going to work. Put the key back in, I think. Works. Okay, so reassembly is basically the reverse of disassembly. So what I'm doing now is I've just got the throttle cables reinstalled here, and I think now I'm going to attach both on this switch gear, and then once I've got that clamped down, I did test the headlight, I tested the starter button, I tested the kill switch, and everything there looks to be good. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is reconnect the throttle cables on the carbs. I'm going to put that back in there. There we go. Now, before I check everything, I'm just going to make sure that that's staying where it needs to be. I've got good free play there, so that's good. Before I go too far, I think I need to put those handlebars back together now. All right, so I've just glued on my first pull tab. Got my big glue gun there. And I don't know if you've ever seen these things before. I've used them quite a bit before on the channel. And there's, you get all of these different shapes and sizes of these pull tabs. There's a bunch of different ways you can pull. You can use a slide hammer, which comes in the kit. And there's also one of these, and there's a few other things as well. But yeah, it's just a cheap kit. I think it's about $70 off Amazon, but it works quite well. So I'm just going to see if I can get this to pop out. It's not very deep, it's very, very minor, but I thought I'd give it a go. So yeah, it's 99.99% gone out of there. I can't feel it. All right, so tank's back on. So the plan is plan is to fire it up, get it to start up, and then I want to just kind of use the kill switch on the handlebar to shut it off, and make sure the headlight goes out when I hit the starter button. So that's the plan. So we'll choke it, turn it on, headlight is on. Perfect. So there you go. The bike is ready to go. I've just let the owner know that it's ready to roll. So thank you very much for watching. It was just a short video today, but I appreciate you tuning in nonetheless. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.